All right. Happy Friday, LinkedIn. It says that I'm live. This is my first ever live, so I am still learning and still figuring it out. If there were a few of you who tried to show up at 9, I am just a tiny bit late. I apologize. I had some technical difficulties this morning. For some reason, it said that I was scheduled at 9:48 instead of 9 a.m. So here we are. Ready to talk about strengths a little bit on video this morning. I hope that you guys are all having a great day. If you've been following along this week in my posts, I have been talking about the Clifton StrengthsFinder assessment and what to do when you have results. I've talked to so many people over the years who have taken the assessment, read the report, and then not really knowing what to do about it or not really thought about it again. And the reason why I'm doing this series of posts and videos is because I really believe that strengths is a developmental tool. It is a starting point. It is just the beginning. And so I want you to do more than read your results once. I want you to really have a chance to think about them and dig into them a little bit and start to figure them out. So today, I am going to cover very briefly the reports that you get from Gallup when you take your top 5 assessment. I'm going to talk a little bit about what it means to develop your strengths and to put some time and energy into them. And then I want to say one thing at the very end about how your strengths all fit together. So first, let's start. The Clifton Strengths Assessment measures talent. So what exactly is talent? Talent is a naturally recurring pattern of thought, feeling, or behavior that can be productively applied. So talent is something innate in you, and whether you have used it or not. So when you take the assessment, some of the top 5 strengths or talents that show up for you may make a lot of sense and maybe something that you do every day. And some of them may be things that you haven't really actually thought about very much, but they naturally recur in you, and they are something that you can use productively. So that's what we're measuring when we're measuring your talent in the Clifton Strengths Assessment. The second thing I want to point out is you get 2 reports. So if you do not have your Gallup StrengthsFinder results and you have taken the assessment before, please go to my.gallup.com, put in your email address. Even if you don't remember your password, they will help you track down your results. Okay. When you do that, you will be able to download 2 reports. The first one says this, your signature theme report, and it is going to give you descriptions of your top 5 talents. This one is mine. So you can see my number 1 talent right here is strategic, and it gives me a definition, a long paragraph definition. That paragraph will be the same for everybody who has strategic. Okay. And that's true for all 5 of my top 5 talent themes. The second report I think is the most interesting, and it's called the Strengths Insight Guide. It looks a little bit longer. It starts off by reminding you of your top 5 themes. And then here's what it does. It says shared theme description. That is the same for everybody who has strategic. And then it says your personalized strengths insights. This long paragraph right here is unique. And so the paragraph, the blocks of information that you get here, while computer generated, are based on how you answered the assessment, all of the how your other strengths play into it. And so I really love the Strengths Insight report because one of the things we know about your talents is that they don't exist in a vacuum. The rest of your personality and all of your other talents play into how those things work. And so the Strengths Insight Guide is a really great place to see some of that. So that's the first thing I wanted you to know today, is that Strengths Insight report is unique to you. It's going to give you a little bit more really specific information that might be really useful and helpful. So the second thing we want to talk about is, what do we do with these talents, right? So you've taken the assessment, you've read it. Most people look at it and go, yeah, that sounds like me. And a lot of times when we take assessments, that's the end. Yes, that's definitely me. Now I know this. Maybe I've developed some self-awareness. Maybe I want other people to read this so they know this about me. But that's just who I am. Okay. What I want to challenge you to do is I want you to think about, how can I develop these strengths? So we start with talent. We start with this naturally recurring pattern of thought, feeling, or behavior. But a naturally recurring pattern can help you or hinder you, or it can help you a little bit, but not help you as much as you would like to. Our goal is to turn that talent into a strength, which is the ability to consistently provide near perfect performance in a given activity. Okay. We do not develop strength without some work. Okay. So turning our talents into true strengths takes some work. What that work looks like often is adding knowledge and skills. So in most of your life, you have spent some time doing education or training and development. We do this in the workplace. We are adding knowledge and skills. Okay. When we add knowledge and skills to something that is not a talent, we get competence. So this is an important thing to do. Let's say I am not a super detailed person. So editing, writing is not a talent of mine. It is not going to be something that I'm going to turn into a strength. But I am competent at it because I've spent some time learning about punctuation and grammar and proper English, and I have spent some practice. So I have spent quite a bit of time practicing that and building that skill. So I have put both knowledge and skills toward that to develop a competence. There are many things in our life where that's what we need to do, is just develop a competence. Here's what happens when we put talent into the equation. And this is the thing I think is the most exciting thing about strengths development, right? Is that the time and effort we put in those knowledge and skills is multiplied by our talent. So if I have spent 20 years studying grammar a few hours a day, I'm going to become a competent editor. But somebody who has a natural talent for detail can spend that same amount of time and they are going to become an incredible editor, better than almost anybody else, right? Because that talent that they have, that naturally recurring pattern, when we add knowledge and skills or strengths development to it, when we invest in that talent, that multiplies our efforts. And every minute we spend developing that is exponentially, we have exponential growth in that area because of the talent. And that's where it turns into a strength. That's the thing I think is the most exciting thing about strengths, is you can look at these things and go, okay, these are talents I have. Most of us as adults have already put some investment or some knowledge and skills towards at least some of these talents. Some of these you're going to go, yes, I use this on a daily basis. But now our job is to find more ways and different ways to continue to invest in that talent, to add knowledge and skills to it, to really turn it into a world-class strength where we can become potentially better than anybody we know at that particular talent. So that is what I'm going to be talking about for the next 3 or 4 weeks on social media. I want to give you lots and lots of ideas about how to invest in that talent. The first and most important thing to do is just to become aware and to pay attention. So if you have read your report, then one of the things I want you to do is just pick one of those talent themes and pay attention to it for about a week. Ask yourself at the end of the day, where did I use this talent theme today? Where could I have used it more? Where might I have invested in this a little bit more? Just starting to pay attention is the first step. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to give you some more specific ideas about how to invest in and build on those talents. The final note I wanted to make today that I think is really important is that when you look at the top 5 talent themes that you have that the Clifton Strengths Assessment will provide for you or help you to discover, one of the realities of those is that they don't live in a vacuum. This is why the Insight Report is so interesting to me, because I can look at strategic all by itself, but for me, strategic and my number 2 of connectedness, those two almost always interplay together. So I'm hardly ever using strategic without also using connectedness. And so that's going to look different than anybody else who has strategic. One of the stats in the Gallup universe that I love is that only 1 in 33 million have your exact combination of top 5 talents. So when we realize that those talents interplay together, and that our real superpower is how those talents come together and how they impact each other and how they all work together to create our superpower. And then we realize that only 1 in 33 million have that same list of talents in the same order. It's really kind of exciting to think about what you uniquely have to contribute that nobody else does. That really you're just not going to find anybody else who's contributing exactly what you do. So I hope that gives you some ideas about why this is exciting and how you might continue to pour into and develop your talents. Watch this space for some more ideas. If this all sounds exciting and you have never, ever taken the Clifton StrengthsFinder assessment, I would love it if you would send me a message. I would be glad to help facilitate you taking the assessment and getting some information about it. And if this has caused you to think new and different things about one of your talent themes, I would love if you would share it in the comments and tell me what you think. So I hope everyone is having a great Friday out there, and I look forward to connecting with you here on LinkedIn and in the real world. Have a great day.